And hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Thursday, April 17th, 2025. I said 24 yesterday. I got it right today. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. You know, even though things look a certain way, I think things are on the up and up. Let me tell you a little history about myself really quick if I can. And while I'm doing that, can you please bless me by hitting the thumbs up? Share the video. Share the video. Come on, please share the video and hit the thumbs up. If nothing else, at least hit the thumbs up. Okay? So a little history about myself. When I first started looking at the politics and started paying attention to politics, it was really when President Trump in 2016, when he threw his name in the hat, 2015, I guess, 2015, around that time, when President Trump threw his name in the hat for running for president. I looked at politics and stuff, but before then, I really didn't care too much. I didn't really think about, saying anything about it, speaking up about it. It was not a part of my world. Well, when I moved to California after leaving Arkansas, and in Arkansas, I considered myself a Democrat, not knowing any better, and I'm so thankful that God has healed my mind. When I left Arkansas and moved to California, you would think that I would just go deeper down the rabbit hole, but I didn't do that. I got to California and my eyes were open to what the Democrat Party was all about and how disgusting they were. And this was, I guess, what year was that, baby? 2011? 2011? Yeah, 2011. And then I started, wait a minute. So when I moved to California, I had to get a driver license there, and I put myself down as an independent because I didn't want to go Republican. I'm like, I don't know, I can't do Republican, because the Republicans are just bad. And then I found out in the state of California that if you're independent, you cannot participate, which sucks, in the primary. You can't do it. But you can in the general election. And I didn't want to wait until the general election, so I changed my party affiliation from independent to a Republican. And when I was a Republican, but I've gone to being a conservative Republican to now today an extreme MAGA Republican. That's what they call us now. Well, long story short, when I started speaking out about what I was seeing in the world, my objective is to get people to see exactly how evil and demonic the Democrats truly are, because I was seeing it and no one was saying what I was seeing. And that's part of the reason why I started speaking up. And I truly believe to this day that God pushed me to speak up. When I was a kid, people would do stuff to me. I mean, just terrible stuff to me. And I wouldn't say anything. I would be quiet about it. And I'll never forget it. My mom, she used to come down on me and say, you need to speak up for yourself. You need to say something. Because, she's like, I'm not going to be there for you. I was just really quiet. Sometimes people thought I was stuck up because I wouldn't say anything. And I'm like, I never understood that because I'm like, I just didn't have anything. I didn't know what to say. Fast forward to today, my family won't even talk to me because I speak up too much, because I'm not saying the right thing. And because I'm telling the world, and I've been trying to tell the world about the Democrat Party. And I've noticed so many other people now, referring to them as the Democrat Party. And I don't think and I was asking my producer, I said, have you ever heard anyone else refer to them as that? And she said, I don't ever recall anyone else saying that. So I'm just kind of curious. I do look in the comments. And maybe my producer can put the other comments here on the screen again. But I look in the comments and y'all let me know, have you ever heard anyone else before Will Johnson? I'm not trying to coin the term. I don't care. I encourage everyone to go ahead and use the term because that's exactly what they are. That's who they are, the Democrat Party. I encourage everyone to use the term. But I'm just kind of curious, have you heard anyone else say it? Which brings me to this first clip that I want to share with you. And this is Chris Van Hollen. This dude He's a total Democrat. He's a senator from, is it Virginia? Maryland. Sorry, Maryland. He's a senator from Maryland. He has constituents in Maryland that have been just horrified by some of the illegals that have come into the country. They've taken their loved ones' lives. They've done horrible things to his constituents in Maryland. So what does he do? He doesn't go to the victims, the family members, and embrace them. American citizens. He doesn't embrace them, which you all know by now. He gets on the airplane and flies over to El Salvador, trying to bring back the illegal criminal, the MS-13 member, that they all keep saying there's no proof. They keep saying there's no proof that he's an MS-13 member, that he's a gang member. And even when the proof comes out, the Democrats still find a need, or they still find some kind of way to try to squeeze it in there, saying there's no proof of it, even after they see the proof. And this goes back to another point that I've talked about, how you can tell the Democrats the truth, you can show them the truth, and they will still go along with the lie because that's what they want to be. That's what they want it to be. Well, listen to him. This is him in El Salvador. And this is a clip of him saying that he had a conversation with the VP in El Salvador. But there's different stories that's coming out about this, about him having a conversation with him.
I've had back-to-back meetings here in El Salvador with our team from the American Embassy, with the Vice President of El Salvador, with human rights groups. And the entire purpose has been to bring Abrego Garcia home, because U.S. courts have determined that he was illegally abducted from the United States and now finds himself in the most notorious prison in El Salvador. The Supreme Court, 9-0, has told the Trump administration they must facilitate his return home. They've refused to do it. So I called upon the government of El Salvador to do it unless they can provide evidence that he's been involved in MS-13. They said they had no evidence. So this is not about MS-13.
Let me stop it really quick. It don't even have to be about MS-13. It can be the fact that he came to the United States of America illegally, 2011, 12. He came here illegally and then got arrested in 2019 and has been on the deport list ever since then. So he's had his due process in 2019. He's had his due process. Why in the world does this dude believe that he can just get on an airplane and go advocate for a gang member, which we do actually have proof that he is a gang member? This came out yesterday. The DOJ released this information yesterday about this gang member. And of course, the Democrats ignore it all. They ignore this. And I'm going to go on a limb because I haven't heard the Democrats say this as of yet. I'm going to go on a limb and say that the Democrats are going, well, this is not real. They made this up just to push a narrative, just to make it look like that we're wrong. Have the Democrats ever been right about anything? I mean, really, have they been right about anything? But here it is. This official document, they redacted a whole bunch of stuff. It's all in black there. I guess sensitive information. But this is him. This is the guy that the Democrats are fighting for right now in El Salvador. They're fighting for him. Are they going to acknowledge this? Probably not.
I know President Trump wants to make this about gang violence. I have been fighting MS-13 probably longer than Donald Trump even knew about MS-13. I care about every victim of crime. That's why we have a court system, to hold people accountable.
Did he just say he cares about every victim? Why is he in El Salvador then? What about the victims that are his constituents? What about his own constituents? I don't make sense. Say it again.
This guy is being held accountable. He literally was here illegally. He's been proven to be part of a gang that's on the terrorist watch list, by the way. And so he's been removed. That's exactly how America works. Thank you very much, Van Hollen. The problem is you don't like the way that America works. There's certain people you want to protect.
Yeah.
And just like the poor woman who lost her child to an illegal alien in his state, who he's completely ignored. He didn't fight very hard for her.
Completely ignored.
Did he rally for the SAVE Act? Did he rally for that to protect Americans?
No, he's more likely against it.
I bet he voted against the ID Act.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. So
who is he trying to protect? Sounds
illegal,
like he's trying to protect
criminals,
the people breaking the law.
Gang members, MS-13.
It sounds like he doesn't believe in our justice system, to be quite frank.
No, think about it. Have you known for the Democrats to ever believe in the justice system? When they can't weaponize it against American people, they say there's injustices that are happening in our country. You hear them say it all the time.
When they commit crimes, to make sure that they get the punishment they deserve. We also have a court system to make sure that people who have not committed crimes or not been convicted of crimes are not disappeared out of the United States and sent to a notorious prison in El Salvador, like Abrego Garcia. This is simply about letting him have his day in court. We use the courts to make sure that we don't convict people who are not guilty and that we convict those who are.
What happened to 2019? Did no one tell him that he's had his day in court? And then the judge in 2019 didn't send him back to El Salvador because of a rival gang might harm him. He says, okay, because the other gang might hurt you because you're in another gang. They don't say that you're in a rival gang if you're not in a gang. This is what the lawyer was saying for the MS-13 member. This is what he was saying for him. So we got some more information. And you want to read this, Shannon?
Yeah, Will. So a friend of yours, Tom Papper, wrote about this story in the Tennessee Star. And he talked about Biden's FBI order on a Tennessee highway patrol that released this Maryland man who was recently deported to El Salvador when he was detained in a 2022 traffic stop on suspicion of human trafficking. So listen to the story, Will. He learned on Wednesday that Kilmar Abrego Garcia, an alleged criminal of Central America gang Mara, or MS-13 we'll just say, was deported to El Salvador under Donald Trump amid a legal action claiming removal was by mistake, was suspected of being engaged in human trafficking by a highway patrol officer who detained him in December of 2022. The Star learned from sources familiar with the incident that Garcia was stopped for an unknown reason on December 6, 2022, and that the THP officer responsible for the stop immediately discovered Garcia was transporting 7 passengers with 8 individuals inside the vehicle. During nearly 2-hour traffic stop, the THP officer determined that Garcia was operating a vehicle without a driver's license and began researching about him. The source told the Star ultimately discovered that Garcia was on a terrorist watch list, Will. So this guy's not some innocent person. In 2022, he was on a terrorist watch list.
In 2022.
But the officer could not locate him on a deportation list. So he reached out to FBI that was formerly led by Christopher Wray and under the Biden administration. The FBI instructed the officers at the scene to capture photographs of all 8 people in the vehicle and document its contents. Once the photographs were captured, this source told the Star that the FBI requested the THP to release all 8 individuals, and the THP officers complied with this request. The Star learned that the circumstances of the stop made the THP officer responsible for the stop concerned that Garcia was engaged in human trafficking, but Garcia and his passengers were nonetheless released at the request of the FBI. Now, if you think this is a human trafficking incident, would you not think that the FBI should start engaging and figuring out what is happening? If you have a man that's on the terrorist list, would you not automatically detain him and the people for that matter and find out what the real story is?
One would think.
You would think.
One would think.
But no,
this
is
exactly
the
what they
kind
would
of
do.
person that they want to protect. Why? I don't understand.
We've seen a lot of that. And what's happening right now in our world is that the Democrat Party, they're willing to, can I say it this way, die on this hill. It's like they're willing to die on this hill for these criminals. And they've been in support of all these criminals for many years. Look at George Floyd. Look at the latest case now with this guy on the track meet. Same thing there. There was actually a shooting in Dallas, Texas, just the day before yesterday, and none of the mainstream media talked about it. None of them. None of them talked about it. The mainstream media was completely silent on it. Another prime example of the Democrat. And the reason why they didn't talk about it, this was a school shooting. 5 people had to go to the hospital. 5 people. None of the mainstream media talked about it. Do you know why they didn't talk about it? Yeah, you do know why they didn't talk about it. Let me put it this way. If it had been a white guy, they would have been all over the news. Oh, my goodness, look, Trump is inciting violence. This has everything to do with Trump. He's not looking at the gun laws. He's not trying to bring more restrictions. This would happen if President Trump would just go ahead and, take up all the guns. That's what they say every single time. But they didn't talk about this story because it didn't fit the narrative. It was a young black male that went into the school. And that's the reason why the liberal media says nothing about it.
Yeah, well, and this story is not a small story.
No, it's not a small story at all.
A young man that entered a school. There's video coverage of him walking down the hallway, I believe it was.
Yeah, we're not going to show the video.
Shooting other people.
Yeah.
5, they say there's between 4 or 5 were taken to the hospital, but they literally did not talk about it. But there's the suspect right there. He turned himself in, so there's no alleging anything. This young man turned himself in as the one that did it.
Did they create a GoFundMe on him for him yet?
Not that I know of.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, right?
Yeah, he has a $600,000 bond.
Really? It was less than $1 million.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I need to look for an update on how well the people are doing. But there was, I think 4 that were admitted into the hospital that were hurt. So
last time I read, it was 5 people.
Between 4 and 5. Yeah, there's some.
It does. And you know what? 1 is too many.
Yeah, absolutely.
1 is too many, right?
This was a dramatic scene. I mean, there was cops.
Yeah.
It was like our normally things that the media grabs onto and reports widely and will report on it all day long.
This is at a school.
They didn't even talk about it.
This is at a school.
A high school.
This is at a school. This was at a school.
Mm-hmm.
Any other time, the media, they drop everything and go right to stories like this. They drop everything and go to stories just like this. But because it didn't fit the narrative, they looked the other way. They had nothing to say about it. All right, let me go back to this story where the Democrats are willing to die on this hamburger hill, if you want to call it hamburger helper hill. They're in full support for these criminals, and I don't get it. I really don't.
First of all, I'm more than happy to hear the congressman say they're all going to El Salvador. I think for Republicans, this just confirms what we have believed about the Democratic Party and why it currently has a 21% approval rating in Congress. Look where the energy in the Democratic Party is. It's around retrieving illegal aliens from El Salvador. It's around fighting for these college campuses that have been rife with anti-Semitism. It's around biological males who want to play in girls' sports. This is why they are losing to Donald Trump every day, because the energy that Democrats feel comes on all these issues that are fundamentally not where the American people are.
Congressman, one second. Congressman, can I give you the chance to respond to that?
Donald Trump. Yeah, I mean, it's Donald Trump that's actually losing the support of the American people. Donald Trump's not focused on lowering the costs of housing, not focused on lowering the price of goods. He's out there deporting people that have legal status to be here, revoking student visas from students that are contributing to this country.
He doesn't have legal status to be here, Congressman. He has a deportation order. You're going to go to El Salvador. You're going to go to maybe go to the grocery store. Like, there's an issue here where you could possibly win on, but you're going to El Salvador instead.
It's okay that someone walking into getting their citizenship, walking into their citizenship test, their citizenship meeting, is being apprehended on the way into their next process, which just happened to somebody in Vermont, and it's happening now across the country. Students are being deported and revoked of their student visas. Yes. Many are not being told why that's the case.
They know why their student visas are being revoked, because they're coming to America and they're inciting violence. They're showing open support for Hamas, a terrorist organization. They're not allowing Jewish students to simply go to the library or to class. Why is it so difficult for Democrats to understand this? You know why? Because the Democrat Party, they are 100% against Israel. 100%. They don't care about these Jewish students.
That should not be happening in the United States. And certainly someone shouldn't be deported and being left in a prison in a foreign country when the Supreme Court says it should be returned back. And so those are the questions. And by the way, as Democrats and as a Congress and a government, we should be able to do multiple things at the same time. We should be able to take on billionaires who are raiding the government. We should be able to take on Elon Musk with no business being in charge of Doge. And yes, protecting the civil rights and human rights of people that are in this country and entrusted to us. And so, yes, Scott, we can do all of those things. And it's Donald Trump who actually defined the Supreme Court and whose numbers are going down.
Kate Bedingfield. I would also just say to your the energy from Democrats is on these issues. Let's also look at the elections that have taken place since.
I mean, you know what? President Trump numbers are not going down. Actually, President Trump numbers are going through the roof. More and more people are realizing that the Democrat Party is not for them. And you know how many times I've said that? I mean, I've said it so many times, and it's just now more people are starting to recognize it. I can't tell you how many videos I've seen just random people all online talking about the Democrat Party, how they're questioning that we're going through stuff. Instead of them putting all of this effort into fighting for someone that should have never been in the country in the first place, they're not even fighting for us. Now, the Democrats to come out and say, well, President Trump, he's not doing anything to bring down the price of eggs. He's not doing anything to bring down the price of milk. He's not doing anything to do it. Nothing, right? They say this all day long when in actuality, the price of goods and even services are going down. Even at the gas pump, the prices are going down. But they'll go out and they'll tell everybody, don't believe your lying eyes. Believe what we're telling you. They want everyone to ignore the positive things that President Trump is doing. I don't understand why they believe that we, the American people, see them supporting MS-13, supporting these gang members, and they think that we're going to just continue to go and support them. I would love to hear from people on that. I would love for someone to call me and tell me. I'm going to open up the phone lines tomorrow. So if you want to call me and tell me why you support the illegal immigrants, the criminals, the MS-13, I would love to hear from you. But I guarantee that the liberals, they're not going to call me. Every single time I go online and I get liberals to get behind the keyboard and they're going back and forth. As soon as I go, I say, you know what? I will fight for you to have your opinion. I said, why don't we do this? Let's get from behind the keyboard. And how about you join me on camera in a live interview and we'll just have this discussion about it. Let's talk about it. Every single one of them, they stopped talking to me.
I mean,
it's like they don't even see my messages any longer.
I mean, can they even defend their stance on behind the keyboard? No, they can't. They don't say why they support they support these things. You've gone out to Tesla and other places, and we ask these questions all the time, and they can't answer them. They just say the same old sayings. Oh, he's bad. Oh, he's not American. Oh, he's a Nazi. Oh, he's a fat. Like, those are all the things you say. But when you say, okay, let's have a conversation, they can't have a conversation. Well, and I don't think it's because they don't want to. I think it's because they don't know why they're doing what they're doing. They only know what the media has told them. They don't know the details about anything. They are literally the uninformed voter.
Well, you know what it is? A lot of them believe that they know the answers. And then when they start hearing something that questioning what they've already believed, then they start getting on the, on the defensive. And then they start getting, they start getting on the defensive. That's not what I want to hear because that's not what I was told. And like, for example, this woman here, Scott Jennings is going to straight up tell her the truth. And she's going to go, no, no, no. There's a video on, was it the Family Guys, where this donkey was sitting on the couch with, I think it was Peter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was Peter. But anyway, this is a cartoon.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And it was talking about Kevin Spacey, is that his name? That saying that he was in Footloose.
That's right.
Huh?
I remember that.
And the donkey was going,
no.
And he said, yeah, he was in the movie Footloose. No. And who hasn't seen Footloose? If you haven't seen it, it's actually really a good movie.
Uh-huh.
I watched it a long time ago. It's actually a really good movie. I could watch it again, actually.
You could?
I could. It's been a while.
Are you going to get Footloose after you watch it?
No. No, not at all. Not at all. I see what you tried to do.
You got the
there.
hat. You got a cowboy.
I see what you tried to do there. But listen to her. She's gonna be like, no, no. No. I mean, this is a prime example of that donkey. Watch.
There's due process that exists in this country for everybody. And the fact that this man had received no due process, he was effectively disappeared to a foreign country, a country which he came from, which he was basically got
it's
asylum.
Not a foreign country. He lives there.
Excuse me, no, he does not live there.
He's a citizen of El Salvador.
Scott, excuse me, he got asylum in this country.
He's a citizen.
Scott,
does he have asylum?
Excuse me, let me finish.
No, he doesn't.
No, it's not that he.
Okay.
Sorry, it's not that he got asylum. He got a judge to say that he could not be.
Does he have a deportation order?
Excuse me, he could not be. Can you let me finish? He could not be rendered back to El Salvador because he was at risk of being harmed in El Salvador. That is what a federal judge. That is what a federal judge.
By who? Who was he at risk of?
Excuse me. That was what a federal judge said. He could not be deported.
Risk of being harmed by? I'm asking you.
Who could he be at risk by? I don't know.
A rival gang.
No. Excuse me.
No. Hee-haw. It was by a rival gang. No. Hee-haw. I'm telling you.
She was saying one untruth at a time.
Oh, my goodness. She was going, he no due process.
Okay, he didn't have due process.
He got asylum. No, he didn't.
Deportation order? I'm not answering that.
No. Hee-haw. I wish I could play that for you here, but they hit me with a copyright strike.
You sure would. Yeah, it's funny.
I mean, dude, the reason why the judge said it because of a rival gang. That's the reason why the judge said, okay, we'll let you stay here. He didn't get asylum here. We're just going to let you stay here because of the rival gang, meaning that it wasn't because of another gang.
A federal judge.
By who? Who was he at risk of?
Excuse me. That was what a federal judge said. He could not be deported.
Risk of being harmed by? I'm asking you.
Who could he be at risk by? I don't know. But
a rival gang.
No. Excuse me, Scott. Excuse me. Stop. Do you really believe that this guy's an MS-13 member? Because
I've got two heads of state telling me that they believe it.
Oh, okay. Your heads of state. Okay. Barack Obama said that.
I mean, come on.
And now they have the paperwork, Will. So, I
mean, come on.
Do you think that the Trump administration did this on purpose? Because they were withholding stuff. And now that these people are dying on this hill, they're flying to El Salvador.
Yeah.
They're saying, oh, he's such a great person. Now they're starting to drop the evidence that this guy's an MSN or MS-13 gang member, and they don't want to see it.
You know why
they literally say, I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. It's not true if I don't look at it.
Yeah, you know why they're trying to say that he's not a MS-13 gang member? You know why? Because he doesn't have his tattoos all over his face like these guys.
Well, he doesn't have them on his face, but he does have some on his arm and his body.
They have been reporting that he has tattoos, but they're saying that he's not MS-13 because he doesn't have them all over his face like these guys. Now, to be clear, y'all see it. These are the people that the Democrats are fighting for, right? The Democrats are trying to save them from deportation. These people here, that's who they're fighting for. They're not fighting for you, the American people. I've asked y'all this question multiple times throughout the years since I've been doing this. How many times or how many things or what have the Democrat Party done for the American people that you can say, oh, they did this. This is great. They did that. I can't think of anything. They're not fighting for us. They're fighting for these people here. And these people here are bad hombres. They are not good people. They're Satanists. And that would explain why the Democrats are all about it. It would explain why the Democrats are fighting for them. That's the reason why, because they're Satanists. I have another one I want to share with you with Scott Jennings, of course, with all of this. He's like common sense on there. I mean, really, Scott Jennings is the only reason why people even watch anything from the Communist News Network, because he lets them have it. And he's not even being mean. He's just telling them factual stuff, common sense stuff, and they come unglued to hear it.
First of all, I'm more than happy to hear the congressman say they're all going to El Salvador. I think for Republicans, this just confirms what we have believed about the Democratic Party and why it currently has a 21% approval rating in Congress. Look where the energy in the Democratic Party is. It's around retrieving illegal aliens from El Salvador. It's around fighting for these college campuses that have been rife with anti-Semitism. It's around biological males who want to play in girls' sports. This is why they are losing to Donald Trump every day, because the energy that Democrats feel comes on all these issues that are fundamentally not where the American people are.
The American, straight up. See, they keep supporting everything where the American people are like, this is not right. I mean, it's just not right. And they keep, wanting to, do stuff with children, and it's just not right. And then they call it, well, we got to educate the children. It's about love and et cetera, et cetera. It's not right.
Congressman, one second. Congressman, can I give you the chance to respond to that?
Donald Trump.
Okay. So I just wanted y'all to see that, because that was a part of the beginning of the other video.
Yeah, and that's what he's absolutely right. They're willing to die on this.
They are.
What is this going to do to the Democrat Party? I mean, let's think about it. There's so many people. You even saw we've seen polls where, Mr. Garcia likes to say, oh, Trump's polling is going down, but it's really not. There's literally not a poll where his approval rating has gone down. Now, at least right now. It did
President Trump's polling numbers?
Yeah, I think it did on the tariff issue for a second, but his overall approval rating, it is stronger than any other president at this time in their presidency, which is at the beginning, because he's been coming out strong. And people that didn't even normally support President Trump are like, you know what? I kind of like what he's doing. I kind of like not having people in my neighborhood that
look at the number of people crossing illegally since he's gone in office.
It's a trickle.
And then Joe Biden said he couldn't do it. I mean, do you see all the cameras down there anymore? Nope, because it's not happening. It's like there's nothing to report. Yeah. And of course, there is a lot to report. Yeah. There's a lot to show how it's getting cleaned up and how
border,
how it's not the trafficking of children that's coming across. I mean, there's a lot to report, but because it's not drama, animosity, chaos, the cameras don't go. I mean, there's a few down there. My buddy Ben Berquam, he still makes trips.
The cameras,
So, but I mean, just chaos. Everybody, people just, making trips down to the border, and we're having rallies down on the border. That's not happening right now because we don't have a crisis currently on the border.
No, and Secretary Bergman was down there yesterday, and he made 110,000 acres that were under federal
jurisdiction.
Oversight, jurisdiction. He transferred it to the military, and the 110 acres is along the border of Mexico, and he did that so now the military can help patrol. And actually, if they come into military facility, there's immediately you get discharged. So
that's nice.
They're still making a lot of moves, a lot of improvements. I'm very proud of the job that Trump has done at the border, and I think most Americans are, even if you didn't vote for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, someone who's not happy with President Trump is Raskin. Jamie Raskin. And again, he's just like the rest of them. He's fighting for these illegal criminals. And you know what? I don't want them to actually stop, because then if they stop, supporting these criminals, they'll move on to something else, and we'll talk about that, of course. But I don't think they realize that the people in this country don't want them to support criminals. They want them to support the constituents, the people that's actually paying their salaries. That's actually who they want them to support. But they haven't figured it out. They're having a hard time grasping it.
Judge Boasberg, who was a President Bush appointee when he originally went on the bench, and he was Justice Kavanaugh's roommate at Yale, will go down in history as a great judicial hero for what he's doing here, because he is trying to put up a huge stop sign against the lawlessness. He said, I issued an injunction for you to not let those planes go, or if they were in the air, to turn them around. They hadn't left yet, but you willfully, deliberately defied a court order. You can't do that. Even the president of the United States can't do that.
So let me ask you a question. Who's the leader of the country? Think about this really quick. Who is the leader of the United States of America? Is it the judge or is it President Trump? And see, they're telling the world, they're telling the United States of America at least, that President Trump, he can't do anything unless a judge tells him that he can do it. And if a judge just out the blue see what President Trump is doing to defend and protect this country, and a judge comes along and says, well, you need to stop doing that. You have to stop it because I'm the judge. This doesn't make any sense. And actually in the House, they've already passed a bill to stop these rogue judges from doing this. But for some unknown reason to me, they have yet to take it up in the Senate. And I don't understand what they're doing. It's like they got 2 days. They got 2 days left. All right, I'm sorry, today and tomorrow. One day left. I guess if you count today, 2 days. But for some reason, they've already had ample time to do this, and they haven't done it as of yet. And I don't know why the Senate is not taking up the bill. It already passed in the House to stop these rogue judges from doing what they're doing. But Raskin, he's completely wanting judges across the country to be able to stop Trump.
The executive branch can't do it. The legislative branch can't do it. No citizen can do it. You cannot defy the order of a court. And he's saying, I'm going to give you one last chance, essentially, to purge the contempt, to bring the Trump administration in line with the law. So he's given them one last chance before he makes a final ruling on criminal contempt. And if I were them, I would get those people back immediately who were covered by his original injunction. This is a line-by-line, minute-by-minute recitation of the defiance and contempt of the administration.
So my question is what happens when President Trump says, screw you? I'm not going to bring back an illegal alien that's not even an American citizen in the first place back to the United States of America when he's at home. Not going to do it. So what is going to happen? What are they going to go into the White House and arrest President Trump? They've been trying to arrest President Trump for the past 8 years. They've been trying to figure out how to put President Trump in jail, and they failed beautifully. So what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. President Trump is not going to listen to this unlawful order from this judge. He's not going to listen to him. And what's going to happen, and this is something that we need to prevent from happening, and I pray it doesn't happen. As soon as the Democrats, y'all have heard me talk about this all the time, right? The Democrats ever get back into the White House, control the House and control the Senate, guess what they're going to do? They're going to bring tyranny onto this country like we've never seen before. And when they implement the tyranny like we never seen before, if there's any judges out there in the United States of America that says, hey, hold up, wait a minute, even the Supreme Court, they're going to say, well, President Trump didn't adhere to the law. This is exactly what they're going to say. President Trump didn't adhere to the law, so guess what? We don't care what the law says. We're going to do X, Y, Z to the American people because we know what's best for the American people. They're going to have open borders again. They're going to put dresses on men again. All of these women that are losing their scholarships don't ever expect to get another scholarship because the men are going to take them away from you. What about women's rights when it comes to that? You don't have any, according to the Democrats. It's going to be biblical. On a biblical scale. But you know what? I have faith in our country. I have faith in the United States of America. I have faith in my almighty God, in the name of Jesus, that these Democrats will not prevail. They're trying. This is straight up a spiritual battle. I don't know why people hadn't figured that out yet. Oh, here goes Will Johnson. I'm a spiritual stuff. Have you, people say that sometimes, right? I mean, come on, think about it. They act as if they're not spiritual beings walking around in those fleshly bodies. There's only one explanation why these people are so evil and so demonic the way they are. There's only one explanation. It's because of demonic spirits. But see, this White House has brought God back into the White House. And see, remember when Karine Jean-Pierre was there? Can you imagine Karine Jean-Pierre ever doing anything like this? Never. Karine Jean-Pierre, when she had special guests come to the White House for the press briefing, it would be about, some DEI, some woke stuff, and, all this other sinful acts. And she would promote it like it was something beautiful. I mean, really. But they would never do anything like this. Have you heard this? Have you seen this? Listen carefully.
I have to say that this is probably going to be one of the highlights of my life, being able to be a part of a prayer meeting at the White House. Because there's no greater God than the one that we serve. And because there's no greater God, he has a purpose, a plan for all of us being here this moment in time. And even the death that happened to Rachel is part of his purpose. And so I just want to pray that God would take and he would speak to the hearts of every man, woman, and child that hears the words that come out of our mouth, and that the truth would ring true in their hearts, God. That you would take and you would push back the enemy, cause confusion in their camp, God, and that you would raise up your standard, and that you would be exalted and magnified and glorified. Fill us with your Holy Spirit, God, so that the words that we speak come from you and flow out of us, through us, to the people, and that the words that we say are the words that you want to speak to them. Just anoint us, give us the unction, and be magnified and glorified. And thank you, God, for this opportunity. And thank you, God, for these people that are so devoted to you and to truth. And we ask this all, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Beautiful. Thank you. You ready? Welcome. Yes, ma'am. Let's do it.
Wow.
Girl power.
That's powerful. So they were praying before they went out to talk to the press. They were praying.
She's been doing that.
Yes. I saw
it.
another video where the press secretary, Caroline was praying, and she was saying, and she said, in the name of Jesus, before she walked out there. Do y'all think Karine Jean-Pierre ever did that?
No, but I think Caroline knows full well that it's a spiritual battle.
It
and
is.
She needs to put on her full armor when she walks out there. So God bless her.
Yep. Well, here's the young lady. This is the mother. She's a constituent of Chris Van Hollen. The one that's never come talk to her. He didn't embrace her for her loss, but he's going to help someone in the game. It's just
To have a senator from Maryland who didn't even acknowledge or barely acknowledged my daughter and the brutal death that she endured, leaving her 5 children without a mother and now a grandbaby without a grandmother, so that he can use my taxpayer money to fly to El Salvador to bring back someone that's not even an American citizen. Why does that person have more right than I do, or my daughter, or my grandchildren? I don't understand this.
I don't understand it either. And I think that's the first time I've ever heard the press room that quiet. Not trying to interrupt. And the thing is, they hear her story. And I'm going to go on a limb that they don't even care. They do not care. Let me show something. So they were done. They were walking out. And someone said something and she stopped and she talked to him, and she's basically telling him, look, just tell the truth. I don't think the press is capable of telling the truth. They don't even know what the truth is. I mean, look what happened with, just prime example, look what happened with Joe Biden. I mean, I saw something was going on with Joe Biden in 2018. Something was off. And I was talking about something's not right with this dude. And then I was calling it elderly abuse. He should have retired, been fishing or whatever it is that he wants to do in his extra time, just downtime, whatever it is. But what they did to Joe Biden, I was saying it was elderly abuse. And then he just progressively got worse and worse and worse. And they all lied. And it took years for the press to even recognize it. I don't know what these people do all day long. Do they, because they had to see the same thing I'm seeing, but they just completely ignore it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Please tell the truth. Exactly. Tell the truth.
Yeah.
Tell how violent it really is. This is about protecting our children. It's more than just politics or votes or just anything. It's about national security, protecting Americans, protecting our children. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Just tell the truth. You know, I want to bet that they were like, well, we're not going to allow her to tell us how to do the reporting. We're not going to allow her to tell us how to do our jobs. And all I have to do is tell the truth. They don't want to tell the truth. They can care less about telling the truth. Seriously, they could care less. If the truth was in the press, then they would have talked about Joe Biden. They would have talked about the stuff that we were all talking about. But it's all like they got the memo, do not talk about this or just ignore it. And then it was like all a big surprise when a couple people came out with a book talking about Joe Biden and how they had to have this fluorescent tape arrows on the floor telling him which way to walk. And they were like, oh my goodness, did you know this was going on? And they try to act like nothing to see here. Absolutely nothing to see here. I want to play one more from this young lady. And she shouldn't have to be speaking out. Her loved ones should be with her right now. But the Democrats, do you think MSDNC want to talk to her? Do you think CNN would want to talk to her? How come they didn't put any invites out to talk to her? Or if they did, why don't they say that? Maybe she rejected them because she knows how they are.
I know the senator had to see it. So did he reach out after?
No. I've heard no response from any Democrats. I've received some threatening phone calls, but I've received no response from anybody. They're ignoring it. It's kind of like, a little toddler. If I don't look at you, you can't see me. Or if I don't look at that, I didn't do that kind of thing. They're ignoring it.
So that answers that. CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, none of them. Just ignore, and the story will go away. You notice that the left, they'll talk about stories what they want it to be elevated, like they tried to talk about the Signal app, the chat with Pete Hegseth, and they kept talking about, oh my goodness, this is terrible. Oh my goodness. And of course, the story went away because there was nothing there, but the Democrats, they kept screaming about it. They don't ever talk about stuff that make them look bad. Like I was explaining with this shooting that happened in Dallas. None of them say anything about it because it doesn't fit their narrative. Doesn't fit their narrative. So I got one more that I want to share with you before we get out of here. Letitia James. We did pretty much like a deep dive yesterday about Letitia James, the AG out of New York, basically getting caught doing what she was claiming President Trump had done. And President Trump didn't do it, but she's actually falsified records. She actually did. Allegedly. Okay. I guess you got to say that, allegedly. But this one Is this the one she's coming out, Shannon? Is this her coming out after the fact? I think this is a video of her coming. Now, don't hold me to it. Don't hold me to it. But I'm gonna share. Here's a clip with her, and I think this is after the fact. But again, she's doubling down. She doesn't care that she's been caught. In her mind, she's the victim. In her mind, I didn't do anything wrong. You're just coming after me because we got you. Of course, this is what she's saying. So she has to double down because the people that support her and all of those in the liberal left, she can come out there and lie that she hadn't done anything wrong and they'll just believe it. Even if they can show tangible proof, they won't care about the facts.
My mission is clear. I'm focused. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I've been trained by the best. I went to Howard University.
Oh, she went to Howard University. That explains everything.
That overturned legal segregation in this country. I've been taught in those classrooms where Thurgood Marshall once taught. I'm not afraid of no president. Donald Trump, we're ready for you. We're coming for you.
Oh.
We're standing up for you. We're fighting on. We're not going down silent. Victory, my friends, is clear. It's now. And I'm not waiting 4 years. I'm waiting 2 until a speaker by the name of Hakeem Jeffries comes to bring us some rest. Come on, ladies. It's up to us. We saved this democracy before. We'll save it now. Let's go.
Why is it always an angry black woman screaming? Can I say that? I mean, because she is black, right? I mean, unlike Kamala Harris. I mean, she's up there screaming. Why can't she just talk into the microphone? She got to do all the screaming. You know why? Because she's mad. She's angry that all of the corruption that she's done is coming out. So she's going to come up here and try to rally all of these woke women to try to side with her against President Trump. And did you hear? 2 years. You hear? She brought up Hakeem Jeffries. She wanted Hakeem Jeffries to become the Speaker of the House. And guess what? Very first week, articles of impeachment. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. This momentum that President Trump has going right now, they would bring it to a complete halt. And it would be President Trump would go down in history as the only president in American history that would have been impeached 3 times in the House. And if they weasel their way to take over the Senate, then they would actually impeach him altogether. But this is going to be the first time if it happens. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. She needs to go to prison. She tried to put President Trump in prison for the things that she was doing herself. And then talking about it yesterday, where it's on paper that she was married to her daddy. And I actually talked to a couple people and they were saying, well, that could have been, one location put on there that it was her father filling out information. The other place it put it on there that it was her husband when it was actually her daddy. The problem I have is that anytime you have legal documents, a loan, whatever it is, they don't change anything after the fact. You have to put your signature next to it, or you have to put your initials next to it. So she knew exactly what she was signing. She knew exactly what it said. So you can't use the excuse of, well, I didn't know it was on there. I didn't know he was down there as my husband. She had to sign off on it before they approved it. She had to sign off on it.
Actually, Turley came out today. He was on Fox News and he said that now they're saying that there might be evidence that she didn't actually sign the paperwork, but that she had someone sign it for her.
Really?
She had what do they call it? A power of attorney or something like that was doing the paperwork for her, which will unfortunately save her from anything. But she had to know this was happening, right? She knew she was getting the tax break and everything else. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting case.
It is going to be interesting.
And I want to just point out, well, this is like, we were talking about the shooting yesterday or a couple of days ago at Dallas.
Uh-huh.
Well, today they're actually reporting right now that there's an active scene, a report of a shooter at Florida State University, and there's a shelter-in-place order. So,
really,
prayers for everybody there. We hope nothing's going on, but I just think it's interesting how they report this, but they didn't report the other shooting. I guess
what's different?
Well, this one's in Florida.
Yeah, but what's different other than the location?
And it's at a university, so we'll see.
It's still a school, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, everybody. We are at the end. Thank you so much. I want to tell everyone, if you would, please go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com. Support me. God puts it on your heart. Please go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com. Sign up for the free newsletter. I'm going to send out you know what? We should send out one tomorrow, Shannon. Can we do that? We'll send out one for tomorrow. And I just want to say, was it Happy Passover? Right? Happy Passover. Yeah. A lot of people don't want to call it Easter, and I get it, right? Because I don't know. I mean, Easter has this,
it's just a word. We're not going to let them hijack. It's just a word.
You can go down the whole rabbit hole. Oh, pun intended. Yeah. With the eggs. But it's all to acknowledge Passover. It's all to acknowledge that Jesus Christ paid the ultimate sacrifice for us all. And I just want to say that. And then he rose because he loves us so much. And I truly believe that. I truly do, with all my heart. But anyways, if you find it in your heart, please go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com/donate. Support me. I need your help. I still need your help. I'm in a certain predicament, and I'm trusting and believing in God. So I know that the demon Christ, they would love to see me to just go away forever because I don't fit the narrative that they want. And I want to thank all of you that helped me, participated, to help me keep my website up. I'm grateful to all of God's people. Thank you so much. And also, if you go to uniteamericafirst.com/donate, you will see that you can have the different options right there at the very top of the page where you can support me monthly. Right there, you can see all the different ones, gold, bronze, silver. And then right below that, if you just want to send me a one-time gift, to Cash App, I would greatly appreciate that as well. And for those of you that don't like digital currency of any sort, my physical address is right down at the bottom there. Right there at the bottom, my physical address. And just to let you know, every single person, every single one that have sent me a letter, a gift, I keep them all in my binder. Let me show it to you. And it's not like a Karine Jean-Pierre binder. Look how thick it is. It's like busting out the seams. Every single page is full. And I keep every letter. I keep every envelope it came in. And this is throughout the years, ever since I received my very first one. I've kept every single one of them. And this has been, 10 years now. And I have to get another one of these because I have a whole nother stack, maybe two more even. But I'm just sharing this with you because I do cherish when you do send me the letters. And it's going to be so awesome that I get to go back one day and I get to read all of the wonderful letters that everyone sent to me throughout the years. So I am extremely grateful. How many people do this? Have you ever, I would imagine someone else has done it, but I've never seen anyone actually talk about it. And ever since I was in California, right? I can see my address right here from California all the way to my address here in Texas for people sending me gifts and letters. And I greatly appreciate it. So if you want to send me one, right there's my physical address right there on the screen. And you can, if you're watching this on replay, just pause it if you hadn't written it down. Same thing. If you're watching it live, I think you can pause it. All right, everybody, that's it for me. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Gonna open up the phone lines, everybody. Gonna open up the phone lines so you can call me. You can call me. Make sure you call early. Don't bite too hard. God bless everyone. See you tomorrow.